Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back. We're in action. You got your how not to get ripped off by your car dealer team. I believe we're going to be have a complete team here. My son Stu should be here momentarily. Nancy Stewart is sitting right across from me. Rick Kearney is right across from me. Jonathan is to my right. We got a full crew, and we're ready to help you get through your ordeal, which is what it usually is if you're having your car serviced and maintained, if you're having your car, if you're buying a car. What a time, right? I mean, it's, where did COVID go? Well, oh, wait a minute, it's back, isn't it? I don't know where COVID is. It's all over the place. We've been through some crazy times. The supply chain shortage, we've had prices on cars skyrocket. I mean, I've been in the business 50 plus years. I've never seen cars selling for $10, $20, $30,000 over sticker price. You heard me. If you've been in a time capsule and you just came out, yeah, we were selling cars a couple of years ago, thousands and thousands of dollars over MSRP. Some dealers are still doing that, but the market's settled. Supply and demand is catching up with each other, and the supply chain is pretty much intact now. All sorts of other problems. I mean, we got cyber attacks. We got everything is exciting today, folks, and it's almost like we're talking about an industry, the retail automobile dealers, that are frozen in time. The Henry Ford era, where car dealers are frozen in time, and that's it's not good. I mean, it's quaint, especially for an old car dealer like me. I like to reflect on the old times, and I look back at the way I used to sell cars, but it's not quaint for you when you got to go in and buy or lease a car or maintain or repair your car. So that's why we're here, and we're live. We're ready to do business. We want you to call the show. All of us here, we're all talkers. That's a live talk show. I like to talk, Rick likes to talk, Nancy likes to talk, Stu likes to talk, but we want to hear you talk. That's what it's all about. You talk, you ask questions, and you suggest things, and that's why our show is so successful. You, the listener. And that number, we'll be giving it out many times. That number is 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. Write it down if you have a minute, if you can do it safely, because you might not have a question now, you will later. We're a 2-hour show. We're on from 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. 8 to 10 in the morning Eastern Standard Time every Saturday. And nobody sits around for 2 hours and listens to us yak. But you tune in, you tune out. And a lot of people, most of the people that will be listening in the last hour weren't listening in the first hour. So that's the reason, I guess I'm apologizing to you, rare few, that we love you, by the way, that listen to a lot of the show. So you hear the number so often, you say, my God, please, I'm begging you, stop giving me that number. But we doggedly will do it because it's important to make the show work. Again, 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. Now, the phone number is more important than all the other areas, venues that you could use to reach us. So you're going to hear all those later, too. And it's so important that Nancy Stewart, my co-host, the co-founder of this show 20 years ago, she monitors those calls. One of her primary jobs, because the calls are the most important part of the show, the personal touch, is to throw a brick at me or something and make me shut up, or Rick shut up, or Stu shut up, and just answer the phone, right? We got 5 lines coming in here, and we don't want you to wait. I know sometimes we do make you wait. We've had phone problems, okay? But most of the time we get to you pretty quickly. And if you will call 877-960-9960, Nancy will see that call. It'll come in. Jeremy in the control room will flash it on her LCD, her screen, her laptop, and she'll wave at me, or as I say, yell at me, and we'll get to your call. 877-960-9960. Now, for you people that would rather not be on live radio, pretty scary, right? Understandable. Text number, 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. And the cool thing about text is that we accumulate them. We don't get to them right away, but Nancy will go around and say, Stu, do you have any texts? Or Rick, do you have any YouTubes? And we'll go back and catch up on the postings and the textings. So if you get in early on a text, we'll get to your text, almost guaranteed. So that text number again, I like text. I'm a texting guy, but what can I say? That text number again is 772-497-6530. Now, let me tell you about our work in process. We have a work in process. You regular listeners know we switched over to Zoom, and we're getting there. We're having technical challenges. Jonathan is doing a tremendous job working with the studio here to get the radio wasn't intended. God didn't want us to have Zoom on radio. I don't know what it is, but we're going to get it anyway. We're going to get it done, and we're getting there slowly and painfully. So Nancy Stewart's going to tell you about a special offer, not only for her first-time female callers, but for the first 2 Zoom callers. She's going to tell you about a special offer that we had a couple of weeks ago, and we reinstated because we want to test the technical improvements we made to get the Zoom without the echo and without the other annoyances that it had in the past. When we get it, it's going to be really cool. And we'll be able to see you, you'll be able to see us. It'll be like, you're in the studio. Nancy said the other day, why don't we have some guests come in? Well, if we have Zoom, we could have guests all the time because, it's just a question of how long do you want to be on Zoom? And you got the face, you got the voice, you got the personality, you got it all. If you're
You know who I want to invite?
Who? Oh, you are Ashley Mooney? Ashley
is on my mind.
I know that. Yeah, I do too.
But anyway.
The chances of that happening are slim and none. Let me turn the microphone over
You never know.
Over to that lilting, lovely voice.
Okay.
You hear is Nancy Stewart. Nancy, the mic's all yours.
Okay. Earl was talking about reinstating Zoom, and that's exactly what we're doing this morning for the first 2 new Zoomers. The first 2 new who have a question. Do you have a question? You can give us a call. 926-589-0586.
Yeah, that's a Zoom account number, right?
And that's the meeting ID number,
Right.
926-589-0586. That's the first 2 new Zoomers. And we would love it if you had a question and you gave us a call. And you can win yourself $100 for the first 2 new Zoom callers. I'm going to share the number with you again. Jot it down. 926-0589. Yes, Rick?
We do ask that the Zoom callers please use headphones because we believe that the headphones will stop the echo effect we've been getting.
Important point.
Great information. Thank you, Rick.
Important point, yeah. Yeah, if you
And
Zoomers
also-
will know what we're talking about. And if you try to use your PC speaker, that's a problem. You got to plug in your microphone. We're all wearing headphones in the studio. Plug in your headphones, and when you do your Zoom, and we hope that'll eliminate the echo problem. Back to Nancy.
Okay. Jot that number down, 926-589-0586. Earl mentioned when he opened the show, about car prices, and they're certainly out of control, but more than that, Earl and I were talking about the surge on repossessions, and it's up 23%. That was during the first half of 2024, so things are getting pretty serious. Also for the ladies, we hope that we've created a welcoming environment for you right here at Earl on Cars. And if you don't know by now, you influence the automotive on every level. I'm talking about, renting a car. I'm talking about service. I'm talking about purchasing. All of it. You really affect the auto industry. You affect it by over 85%. So, ladies, take advantage this morning of the $50 that I'd like to give the first two new lady callers. The first two new lady callers, $50. And I am going to ask the young lady that was just holding to give me a call back. Jonathan, did you notice that name on that first female caller? Okay. I don't have that at my fingertips, but please give me a call back, and that number is 877-960-9960. We have an interesting mystery shopping report to get to later in the show, and that will be from Monroeville, Pennsylvania. And I think Rick has a question for me.
Actually, just wanted to let you know, Negan1 from the YouTube channel says he got his check for his participation attempt on Zoom, and he says, thank you very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Negan. Thank you. Thank you for tuning
We
in.
love you, YouTubers.
Okay, also you can text us at 772-497-6530. So we are going to, until my first time lady caller calls back, I'm doing a balancing act here, ladies and gentlemen, so bear with me. I'm going to send it back to you until my lines light up here.
Yeah, you mentioned the mystery shopping report, and I forgot to talk about that because I keep forgetting that we have so many new listeners. We assume everybody knows about the mystery shopping report. Well, I got to tell you, it's the most important part of the show. Maybe not most important, but certainly the most interesting and entertaining. Maybe frustrating would be another word. But we go into a car dealership unexpectedly. I say we, actually, it's our undercover agent, Agent Lightning, who happened to be in Monroeville, Pennsylvania for the last mystery shopping report. And she goes in and pretends to buy or lease a car. I mean, she goes all the way in. She talks to the salesman, the managers. She wheels and deals, or she has trade-ins. She has demonstration rides. All the things that you do when you go into really to buy a car dealership, buy a car at a car dealership. So we report these to you as it happened. We name names. We name dealerships. I always say that I know that we're telling the truth because we've never been sued. I knock on wood every time I say that. I don't care. Sue me. We tell the truth, and truth is a perfect defense against libel and slander. So, mystery shopping report, you won't see this anywhere. If you know of a show that does something like this, I'd like to hear about it because I'd like to congratulate them. It takes. I hate to pat myself on the back or pat ourselves on the back, but we did something that a lot of people would never dare do. I mean, we trust. You have to trust your undercover agent, and we've always had good, reliable. I have a telephone call.
We do, and a great surprise this morning from one of our lady callers that we have not heard from in quite a while, and I'm welcoming her back this morning. Laura, good morning.
You trust. You have to trust.
Hi.
Welcome
I don't know
back.
if you remember me. I'm the lady that had problems with Ed Morse. They finally paid me for a CD player they never installed.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I recall.
Yeah, and I'm getting letters from them now where they want me to buy an extended warranty, and I just have to laugh at it. But I wanted to ask Earl about extended warranties and how do they arrive at a price, 4 years, 50,000 mile guarantee. How do you look at these things? I mean, I'm not going to do it. But what's the reasoning behind it, and what's going on?
Well, you have every reason to be concerned because selecting an extended warranty is like selecting a car dealer. It's like Russian roulette. You get the wrong extended warranty, and you really get hosed. I mean, you can really have a piece of paper that is worthless, and you might pay thousands of dollars for the something called an extended warranty. On the other hand, there are extended warranties, notably those that are put out by the manufacturers that are better. Now, there are no really perfect extended warranties, just like there are no perfect dealers, including ourselves, as we know we have a car dealership. So I don't want to go off onto a long thing about extended warranties, but it's because it's one of the most common sources of illicit income to car dealerships. I have to get off a little bit on it and tell you that my rule of thumb is don't buy an extended service contract on anything that you can afford to repair yourself should the product have a problem. Bank what would be your monthly cost or your total cost of that, bank it in your bank and your money, and let it earn interest, or even put it in the stock market and you get 10% on the average every year. And then when you have to dip into that account, you've earned money that hasn't been in somebody else's pocket. But if you can't afford the repair, if it would put a hurting on you to get the car repaired, then be sure when you get an extended warranty that you read it carefully, that it's a manufacturer's warranty, not one that the dealer sells you, and that you find out what is covered and what is not covered. What is not covered is usually the surprise. You can tell a person on an extended warranty all the things it covers. For example, if I told you I'll sell you an extended warranty, it covers the engine, it covers the transmission, it covers the axles, it covers the bearings, it covers the, I go on and on and on. What I'm naming is all the lubricated parts of the car. Well, if you have a car and you lubricate it, and you, according to owner manual recommendations, you'll never have a problem with those items. So find out what it doesn't cover. If it doesn't cover the computer items, like or even the air conditioner or the sound system, then you got a problem. So choose a manufacturer's warranty. Be sure it's something you can afford. But my general advice is pass.
Laura, what a pleasure it is speaking to you this morning. I'm glad you decided to be part of the show. As far as your question and Earl's answer, extended warranties, they do bring some peace of mind. But key for me has always been, as Earl clearly stated, what the extended warranty doesn't cover. So that's really a major question. And do you have any other questions?
No, I think he covered it.
Okay, very good.
I have a car with a lot of electronics, and they told me to replace the screen would be like $1,000, and I don't know if that's covered in the manufacturer.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
But I will check it.
Yeah, whether it includes electronics or not. Okay, well, listen, it was
All
great.
right, thanks so much, and good luck with your show, your new show on Zoom.
Thank you. Maybe you'll take advantage of that feature that we have. We hope so. 87.
Early in the morning, I don't like my photo on the screen.
Understandable.
Neither do I.
Understandable.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And we have a first-time female caller, and she's calling us from Lake Worth, and her name is Sharon. Good morning, Sharon. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
I can,
Oh, yeah.
loud and clear.
I'm not that savvy, and I'm in the car with the car on,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't go to Zoom,
Yeah. Well, you sound pretty good.
but I'm a very happy owner of a 2020 Toyota Camry XSE.
Great. Sharon, you won yourself $50 this morning by being the first time female caller. If you stay on the line after we're finished talking, you can talk to Jeremy. You can give him your contact information, and he'll pass it along to me, and I'll send you out that check.
And spread the word. We love you ladies to call, and we try to keep you up there at parity with the men callers. We're just about there now. So, Sharon, if you tell all your friends about the $50, maybe they could call in next week, and we'd love to hear from a lot more people like you.
Yeah, Sharon, I just want to take a moment and thank you for helping me build the platform here. And it hasn't been easy because this is and always has been a man's world. And by creating, a welcoming environment for the ladies right here at Earl on Cars, we hope that that'll encourage ladies to call us.
Okay. I wish Earl Stewart would run for president in 2024.
I couldn't pass a background check. I'm sorry, but thank you very much.
Well,
Yeah,
the
we-
background checks
we
have been
talked about
eliminated
that.
from presidential contests now.
That's not a good
Nancy,
idea,
why
Sharon.
don't you run?
Not a good idea at all.
Earl, I met you years ago when I bought my car. I'm the one that used to be a professional clown with
Oh,
my little dog Kiwi,
oh,
who
really?
passed away. Do you remember?
Did he hire you as a clown?
Absolutely, Sharon.
We were going to, but it never came about.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
And then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
But I love my Toyota.
Yeah.
I have it in blue. I've written letters to you folks. I interviewed about 6 or 7, maybe 8 dealerships before picking you.
Oh, bless your heart.
Thank
Yeah, and I am very pleased.
Thank you.
From the body shop to the service to Diane, Sandy, they're great.
You're like
Dan,
Well, we're going to hire you to do a commercial for us. You were wonderful.
I should help you. I
Yeah.
want to ask you, okay, so I have a 2020, and it's hitting 34,000 miles, and I plan to hold on to it, but I don't know if I should do anything with it, with the warranty, I
Sharon,
go to you every time I need anything.
Sharon, you got a great car, a reliable car. You don't need a warranty. Do the factory recommended maintenance religiously, and be sure those cars in twice a year. We should at least check the tires, the alignment, and things like that. But you've got a car that'll last you a lot longer. 2020 sounds like an old car, and 20 years ago that was an old car. But today it's a fresh car that can give you a lot of service for a long time. So I wouldn't spend the money.
I'm very happy with it.
I'm
Yeah,
glad.
What do you think it's worth now?
I'd have to throw that back to Stu. He could probably do a quick search on the 2020 Camry.
oh, to see how much it might be worth?
Yeah, how many miles on it?
XSE.
How many miles on it, Sharon?
It'll be 34,000.
34?
Yeah.
34,000.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sharon, you got a long way to go. What you've
Good.
got,
Yeah,
you've
we-
got a vehicle that's going to be. It's only being born, so to speak.
You can have a lot of fun shopping that around. I wouldn't sell it, but if you want to know what it's worth.
No, I don't plan to sell it. I'm
Yeah, but
happy.
it's worth a well kept, low mileage Toyota is worth a lot of money today, and you could probably get several bids on that. And Stu might give you a rough idea.
I give you, it's probably in the low 20s, maybe even mid 20s, depending on the condition. It's got
Yeah.
low miles, and it's XXE, which was like top of the line sporty one.
So low to $23,000, something like that.
And Sharon, what you paid for it and what it's worth now, trust me, you're in the driver's seat. Earl opened the show and he was talking about prices, and they have escalated. So you, my friend, are in the driver's seat.
Unless
I'd
you
love
pay
to
20,000
help you.
over MSRP for it. Then.
I have done commercials. I'd love to help you guys with a commercial.
Oh, well, thank
We
you.
might take you up on that. You got a wonderful voice. Very trusting. People would believe you. Not me, but they believe you.
Well, Sharon, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. I've got
It's a
some
pleasure
calls
speaking
backed
with
up.
you.
And stay in touch and have a great weekend. And again, please spread the word.
I will.
Encouraging
I
the
promise.
ladies to give us a call on Saturday mornings.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you. We're going to go to Dominic, who's calling us from Coral Springs. Good morning, Dominic.
Good morning.
Welcome.
I have a situation that I've never had in my driving life, and I'm going to say I am the same age as Earl.
Okay.
The other day, I went to fill up all 4 tires. One tire would not fill. I drove the car home, and the next day the tire was flat. I looked at the tire, couldn't understand why it was flat, tried to put air in it, nothing would happen. Called AAA, they replaced the tire. And when they were replacing it, they showed me that the side wall had completely removed itself from the tire. The whole full circumference
It's like a full-on
of the
blowout.
sidewall attached from the bottom of the tire. And I probably had another 40,000 miles to go on the tire.
How old was it?
How old was the tire?
Yeah.
Between 4 and 6 years.
Rick, is that something could have been played a factor? He had a complete separation from the sidewall from the tread.
That sounds very odd.
Defect in the tire.
That could certainly be a defect, but a 4 to 6 year old tire, that you'd play a hard time trying to get any sort of
Warranty.
factory representation on that.
I still talk to the tire manufacturer because something is a safety issue, even though technically it's not a warranty. I know car manufacturers get.
I'm not concerned about the warranty or the cost of the tire. I'm just concerned that this may be a problem for people.
Yeah.
I replaced all my tires, and through which I bought all at the same time, and they were all very good with tread.
Yeah.
But I was afraid that by driving on
Yeah,
the
you didn't want
highway
to
that
keep.
it would.
What was the
another
manufacturer
one would
and the
split
model of
up.
the tire?
I bought it from my mechanic. I brought the car back to the mechanic. I paid for new tires. He told me that because the car is not driven a lot and sits outside, that was one factor, and maybe an alignment was another factor, because the tires would kind of go side to side, and that was a weak point.
No, I never heard
I
of
didn't
alignment,
believe.
misalignment causing a blowout like that. What did you say the manufacturer name was?
I think the mechanic said it was a Cooper tire.
Cooper. Okay.
I would also double check the age of the tire. I know you told us it was 4 to 6 years. Did you actually look at the stamp on the tire to see the date of the manufacturer of the tire?
No, and I got all 4 tires at the same time.
Yeah,
and
I'd
just
check that.
replaced them
Yeah.
all.
Well, he replaced them all because
But
even
he
if you
might have
bought.
replaced them with an old tire.
All right.
You could buy a new tire
Right. Well, 'cause-
that's
exactly. I was going to say the ones that
No.
that set you bought that blew out in the one tire. You might have bought them 6 years ago, but they could have been sitting on the shelves at
6 years.
Tire Kingdom for 6 years.
Yeah.
Maybe not Tire Kingdom, but another place.
Oh.
Because
I'm
that's a
just bringing
factor.
it
The
up
reason we're
because I've never
asking
had
is
it happen before, and
because
it kind of worries me.
yeah, it's the set that you replaced them with. You can check the manufacturer date on the sidewall, and Earl can tell you where to find that, and you can see. That way you can rest easy that at least the replacement set is new. Because we're asking, because an old set of tires, they can begin to degrade and you can have problems. It's not just the miles, it's time as well. Where can he find the
Right.
manufacturer date?
It's on the inside and outside of the tire, and Rick could tell him, but he's too busy fooling around with my
He's trying to fix it.
iPhone now.
We have a
so-
technical issue going on.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up and I'll take it.
Yeah,
out.
it's a coded date that gives you the week of the manufacturer and the year of the manufacturer, and you have to know the code
Yeah.
to tell what the date is. But
Google it.
it's always a good idea to be sure when you buy any tire that you check the code. People, there's no federal law on that. You can sell a tire that's 100 years old. There's no federal law that says you can't sell an old tire. But after 6 years, the tire fabric begins to crack. What is that code,
Yeah.
Rick?
It's going to be only on one side of the tire. You're looking for the DOT number.
Ah,
And what you're looking for, the DOT may be on both sides, but you're looking for on one side, it'll be the last 4 digits. And those digits will be something like the first 2 will be 52 or lower, from 01 to 52. And then the last 2 digits are the year. So like if it's 19, then the tire was made in 2019. Now those 4 digits, the first 2, the 01 through 52, is the number of the week of the year that tire was made. So
I
if
don't
it
care about
says,
that. I just want to know the year.
yeah, it says like 04, that means it's 4th week. So you can pretty much ignore that. Look for those last 2 numbers, and if it says like 23, the tire was made in 2023. If it says something like 13, run away. That tire was made in 2013, and it's way too old. You don't want to mess with that tire.
I wish I called you before I bought all 4 tires. I would have checked it out.
or maybe 1913.
That's certainly possible.
Yeah. I think you could tell, though.
I would hope so,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Well, thanks for calling. I'm glad we could help
Right,
out.
thank you, guys.
All right.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Dominic,
it.
I hope
Right.
we answered your questions. Give us a call back.
You most certainly did. Thank you.
All right. Call us again sometime.
Okay, we're going to go to Howard. He's been holding. Thanks for your patience, Howard.
Oh, that's okay. I have a lot of patience. I'm a doctor.
I thought
Yeah.
you're a psychiatrist.
Okay. All right. Here's the story. I bought tires, and I checked the code, and the code showed me that the tires were 6 months old. So
Okay.
I Googled it, and I was told that 6 months it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
think
you
so.
never get a tire that's like a month old, 2 months old. Yeah. So what do you think of that? Did I do the right thing?
Yeah, because what'll happen is the week is put onto the stamp is put on that tire the week that it's processed, that it's made. And wherever it's made, it may take 2 or 3 weeks for it to get through a warehouse in the country where it's made, put on a ship and brought to America maybe, or even if it's made here in America, it's still got to be shipped to a warehouse here for storage.
Some are held for quality inspections,
Yep.
just randomly.
And then it's going to be shipped out to whatever big conglomerate buys it, whether it's Tire Kingdom, Tire Rack, Goodyear, Firestone, whatever. Then it gets shipped to the store, and when it gets shipped into the store, they're going to stack it at the back of the pile to bring the older tires to the front, so they use their old inventory first. Now, it's just like a gallon of milk in the supermarket. The newest stuff is always going to be at the back. That way you use up the older stuff first, and, you get to the new stuff when it comes up.
Yeah.
But, it can take a couple months because it may sit in a warehouse, depending on how common a tire size that is, it could sit in a warehouse for several months. If you say you drive an odd-sized car, like a Toyota Supra, that has a very odd-sized wheel and tire, those tires don't get used very quickly.
Yep.
Earl's Tesla, his tires might sit for years before they get around to using
Here's an
them.
interesting thing that happened with tires. it has nothing to do with Teslas. During the pandemic, there was a big period of time where cars just weren't driven in large portions, and so tire sales were affected by this because no one was driving during the pandemic.
Exactly,
And so
yeah.
they warehoused and got older, so that was something for in the post-pandemic period to look out
And
for.
nobody ever looks at that code. I mean, the sad part about this whole situation is our government is supposed to protect us out there. There's supposed to be rules and regulations. Tires are an extreme safety item, and to think that in all its wisdom, our government hasn't figured out that a 20-year-old tire is dangerous. The manufacturers figured it out. They say 6 years old is an old tire.
And they send them to another country.
Yeah, but and then when they say, okay, then you got to put the age of the tire, our government says put this obscure code that it would take a code expert to
Alan Turing.
to figure out what the code was. So it's a big joke, and it's serious because it's a safety item.
Okay, Rick, I got one fast question to you about batteries. Do they still sell unsealed batteries that you have to add
Water.
distilled water to?
There might be some companies out there that still make those, but most of them now are sealed, maintenance-free.
Well, what is the advantage of a sealed battery?
You don't have to maintain it.
No, but I was told that it's easier to charge up an unsealed battery.
Now, modern batteries, they're going to last the life of the battery however long it is. I mean, here in Florida with our heat and humidity, 3 to 5 years is about the lifespan. You get up north where the temperature fluctuates a bit, it's still going to be 3, 4, 5 years. Yeah, you're really not going to see that big a difference. Even if you go to a deep cycle marine battery, it's my advice on batteries. Check out Consumer Reports. Look for the brand that gets the highest ratings that will match up to your car for the size, and go with that. And especially if you're using a common size battery like a 24F, a 35F, these batteries get circulated through the stores because so many cars use them that they're never an old inventory. You're always getting a relatively fresh unit, and it's going to last as long as it's going to last.
Okay, last question, very fast. What's the difference between the 24F battery and a 35 battery?
The size of the battery, the actual physical size of it.
But they both could be used in a Toyota.
Yeah, depending on the car. Because it like a Corolla uses a Group 35, a Camry uses a Group 24.
Oh, they can't be interchanged?
No. It depends upon the size of the battery to what size battery, physical size, is meant to be in that car.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
You're welcome, Howard. Okay, we're going to go to, let me mention Zoom again. And if you have a Zoom account, give us a call. You can use the meeting ID number, which is 926-589-0586. And for the first 2 new Zoom callers, you can win yourself $100 this morning, and by calling and asking a question and being part of the show. Hope you'll take advantage of that. We're going to go to the Roadrunner, and he calls us regularly.
Good morning,
Steve.
everybody.
Hey, Steve.
Good. Well, I just learned something about tires. That's
Hey.
interesting.
That's what we try to
The
do.
other thing was, with Ferrari electric cars are going to be going for $500,000
Wow.
for the price.
Yeah,
Right.
that's chump change
we're
to
not gonna
people
see
who
a lot
buy
of them.
Ferraris.
Yeah.
Yes. Now I have to go to Rick. On my road, I went for a drive, and when I started the car up, I went from park into reverse, and I heard a bang. Okay?
You ran somebody over.
From reverse to drive, I heard another bang.
Okay, and what's your car on this one? What's
Could be
your
a bank-
Roadrunner year?
Could have been a bank robbery nearby.
Oh, did you hear about that robbery? Two clothespins held up a pair of pants.
They can't catch the Roadrunner though.
Yes, the Roadrunner.
I'd be looking at your U-joints,
Correct.
Is that what it was?
most
No,
likely.
but I took it down to three things: the U-joints, the drive shaft, or the rear end.
And have you had it diagnosed?
No, I have personal things to take care of, but I'm taking it to where the transmission was rebuilt, Performance Transmission in Delray.
Yep.
So I like those guys.
Yeah, U-joints would be my first call on that, because when you're shifting it to that other gear, especially going from park into reverse, you're getting a twist on the drive shaft opposite the direction that the drive shaft might have been sitting in. And so that's the free play in that U-joint is going to make that thunk, that noise. And it can also be free play in the rear end, because the brakes are actually holding it still out at the wheels. So there can be free play in the rear end to cause that movement and noise. And then when you shift into drive, you're reversing that torque direction, and that's going to use up that free play in the other direction, which again is going to cause that noise. But yeah,
Well, I'm going to go have it checked out from the front, complete to the back.
yeah,
Those are original parts in that car yet.
it's dry. It's your U-joints. If they're
Yeah.
original U-joints, it's the U-joints. The rear ends on those things were bulletproof, solid. I mean, unless you're drag racing that car, you're not going to hurt the rear end on one of those old Roadrunners. Those 383 gears.
I'm too old to drag race and too nervous to go to jail
Yeah, no, yep.
with that. Okay, everybody have a safe day and a good weekend.
You too,
Thank
sir.
you, Steve.
Thanks.
Nice hearing
Bye-bye.
from you.
Me.
Mention again our Zoom number, where we have a special meeting number, and that is 926-589-0586. Give us a call for the first two new Zoomers. You can give us a call, ask a question, be part of the show, win yourself $100. Win-win situation. Our text number is 772-497-6530. And we do have youranonymousfeedback.com, so take advantage of that too. We have the cutest little dog coming to us about 9:30. Her name is Anastasia, and she's from Puerto Rico.
Anesthesia?
Anastasia.
Oh, Anastasia.
It's a very not
And
anesthesia. It's
also,
like you're-
she's just over a year old, and she's so cute. And you're just going to want to
and
see
she has
the
a very
video.
special name.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Nancy has a daughter named Anastasia.
Anastasia. Okay. Again, that number is 877-960-9960. We have no callers. Rick, Stu.
Well, real quick, like Donovan says, the Ferrari is going to come at the end of next year. It'll use the same batteries as the new Porsche Taycan GT, and it will have a 400-mile range, 400-mile plus range, and charge in about 10 minutes.
Sounds like they got beat. They're using the Toyota battery.
That sounds to me like they're charging it
It's a solid state.
Marty McFly style by lightning bolt.
No. It's a solid state battery, I bet, because Toyota has developed that as well.
But here's what people that buy Ferraris, don't they buy it because of the sound? I mean, the sound of
They'll have a big speaker on it, making it go.
well, they probably have. They probably have artificial.
Yeah.
I mean, every Ferrari driver I know. I mean, that's part of the reason they do it. It's got to be red, and it's got to make that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have a sense of humor. If I had one, my Ferrari would make the chitty chitty bang bang sound.
One of the few Ferraris that I actually got up close and looked at, the guy was showing me the hood for this rear-mounted engine
It's clear.
was totally clear plexiglass, so you could look in to see the engine
Like
in
a
the car.
fine,
It's
like a fine timepiece.
it was showing off. It just is.
That's crazy.
Wow.
All right, speaking of going fast, Anne-Marie sent us a text, and it's pretty good. I didn't know about this, so I had to do a little Googling. But I think we have somebody on the phone right
We
now.
do.
Anne-Marie,
We
hang
do.
on. I will not forget you.
Yeah, we'll be right back with you, Anne-Marie. We're going to go to Marty. He's a regular caller from West Palm Beach. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. Good morning. I have a neighbor. I'm getting an echo just on the regular phone.
That's because Rick just sprayed some of that red juice into his throat.
I thought
Sorry.
I thought it was. I was going to blame Rick. Okay, I have a neighbor who has a warranty with CarShield, and they have a $4,000 problem on the car, and CarShield refuses to pay.
Tell him to call Ice-T.
Yeah, so
And Marty, you
he's only
mentioned,
gonna-
didn't you mention this last week? We were talking about CarShield.
No.
Okay, that was probably another caller. The reason I ask is because Earl and I were talking about that yesterday. This commercial that is, it's over and over and over again. I mean, and they make it sound like as if, Stu just mentioned Ice-T, they make it sound like as if that it is the perfect solution.
Yeah. This
And-
lady said she's paying $125 a month. So
That's
I told
crazy.
her she's getting ripped off.
Oh, that's totally. How long did she pay the?
I
Is
was
the
going to
term
say for the
for?
rest of her life, probably.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's not good.
So anyways, I told her she better get another car.
Yeah.
Got to read that fine print, folks.
Or just
The car's
ignore
a
the pennies.
2005.
I'll tell you, Marty, you're out there working. You know, you're out there working.
I'm getting the echo on a regular phone.
Oh, jeez.
Is your radio turned on?
I got you on YouTube, but I got it down.
Yeah, you got to turn
no
down the
sound.
volume. I don't know what's going on.
Are you in the Grand Canyon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you
All right,
in the
and
bathroom?
I got one other thing to tell you.
Okay.
On my new car, the XM radio wasn't working.
Is that the Crown?
Yes.
Okay.
So I called XM, and they said they'll send a refresh signal. Well, anyways, after talking about 3 or 4 different people, it never worked. Finally, I got a guy in Cairo, Egypt. And I said, "Oh, you're in Egypt?" I said, "So you probably can fix this." He said, "First of all, you can't talk on your cell phone while you're trying to fix XM, because that's in your car radio." So I had to use the landline, and then
Then it worked.
he sent the refresh, and then he told me there's another thing to do. He said, turn off your radio, shut off your car, open the driver's door for 1 minute, shut the door, and then restart the car and everything, and it worked.
He told you to
Yeah,
put a ham sandwich under your pillow and
right.
turn around 3 times.
Well, what you're actually doing is you're rebooting the radio.
But what's the door got to do
That's
with it?
it.
That's what turns off the memory keep feature on the radio.
Oh,
Okay, so he was right.
apologize to the guy in Cairo. Stu.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, guy in Cairo.
And he was very smart.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well,
So that worked. So any of your listeners
It's
have
still
that
funny, though.
problem,
yeah.
It's still funny that you.
Well, you know why the guy in Cairo had it? Why he had that information and that knowledge?
Uh-oh. Here comes a dad joke.
No, it's because the pyramids are drawing in all the cosmic
Okay.
energy and spreading that knowledge into their brains. That's
Forgot.
where it's coming from. Is the pyramids, cosmic knowledge.
Rick
Oh,
believes
that's
in
positive.
Atlantis, too.
That's positive. Hey, Marty, how
I've been
are you
there.
still enjoying your Crown?
Oh, I'll tell you. I know Earl doesn't like info commercials. I've had about 15 or 20 people compliment the way that car looks.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I
Online.
got a lot of compliments when I drove it, and everything was positive.
But, I never see it advertised on TV.
Well, they're not doing a lot of advertising in general right now, but you'll see more. There's, that new Crown's insignia is coming out too, so keep looking
Yeah.
for that.
I'm
Thanks
still
for that.
only
Okay.
getting the best 37 miles per gallon.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
I gotta
Marty.
bring the
Really
car.
appreciate the call.
All right. Yes. Thanks, Marty.
Thanks so much,
All
Marty.
right.
Thanks
Have
for
a good week.
All right.
You're welcome. Have a great week. We are going to go to. We have a Zoom caller.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we're reinstating.
What is the
Keeping
Zoom
our
number again, real quick?
Fingers crossed. It is 926 589 0586. 926 589 0586. So Rick has his fingers crossed. We are going to go to Dick, who is calling us on Zoom. Good morning, Dick. Hello.
Hello?
Dick.
No echo.
Anybody see anything?
I don't see Dick.
No.
Yeah, don't see Dick. We
I
don't
see,
hear Dick either.
I see no Zoom. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting him on one channel here.
Here he comes.
Oh, there he
Dick,
is.
we can see you, but we
Hi,
can't
Dick.
hear you.
We're getting Dick on Zoom.
Can you hear us?
Oh, okay.
Stand by, folks.
We can see
History
him.
is being made. Bum, 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 bum,
I think
bum,
Dick tried
bum,
last
bum,
week,
bum.
or the week before.
This could be the start of something big.
Yeah, you keep singing, and that way. Yeah, so we don't have silence.
I'm just trying to avoid air silence.
We have video, we have no audio.
I'll tell you what, how about I start reading Anne-Marie's text, and if we hear
Okay.
Dick speak, I stop speaking.
Okay,
Headphones. Does he have his headphones on?
he does. I can see the headphones.
All right,
Yep.
here's Anne-Marie's
And
text.
also, David, we'll be right with you also. David just popped up. You can go to Anne-Marie.
Okay. Guys, Anne-Marie said, good morning. Roads are getting congested and getting cars to merge safely into traffic and high-speed roads like the interstate is vital. Right now, cars can just come down the entrance ramp and merge in the traffic. This is about to change in Palm Beach County. Did you know about this?
No.
Okay. I looked it up. It is true. The Florida Department of Transportation will be adding traffic lights, the ramp signals, to all of the on-ramps on 95 here in Palm Beach County. So only one vehicle per entrance ramp will
Oh,
be
I
allowed
heard
to
about
enter.
that, yeah.
Will be allowed to enter at this one at a time. Now, I want to add something here that was left out. It's only during periods of high congestion, so it's not all the time.
That scares me a little bit.
However, and I looked it up, Jonathan can put up, well, let me finish with her text. Each vehicle will stop on a red and go on green. Only one car at a time will go. This means each vehicle should be standing still. That's no problem for Earl with his plaid Model S Tesla because he can go 0 to 60 in less than 2 seconds. However, there are vehicles that they're much slower vehicles. I'm going to summarize this. They are using them in Miami-Dade and other places. Do they really work? Does it make it easier? I looked it up, and Jonathan can put the visual aid up on the screen. It's called ramp signaling. And what it does is it's only during super high congestion, there is a signal that tells when it's safe to go in that lane. And what it does, and it's really interesting, it prevents what they call platoons of cars. And you notice how I call them blood clots.
Yeah, I know.
And they come in clumps, and this spreads it out. And where it works, it provides for an easy, smooth
It sounds
flow.
like a great idea. I bet it's going to be a total
Well,
disaster.
they're already using it.
I don't believe. I believe it's going to work.
Well, it is. It's working in
What,
Miami.
what am I looking at?
That's the image that Jonathan has on YouTube screen right now.
And there's a
Yeah.
sensor farther back that indicates.
Yeah.
But it works. It's used. It has
Dick
successfully in other places.
He's still
We'll
on.
see.
Yeah.
Dick is still on.
That's it? Okay. Well, then Amory also had another question because this is concerning. She wants to be able to pick a vehicle that has enough acceleration in a situation like this. And she wants to know if, on our website if we could list how fast cars could go to 0 to 60. Unfortunately, we don't have, even Toyota doesn't publish, or the manufacturers, I don't publish the 0 to 60 information. That's usually done by,
Usually not.
yeah, it's usually on a magazine or YouTuber,
Yeah.
and they test it out. So I don't know if that's something, I know technically I don't think we could manage that. It would have to be something done by Toyota. All right, so how's,
One quick note, Donovan says that they had those traffic signals at Palmetto Park Road in Boca. They lasted about 3 days before the FDOT turned them off
I told you so. I told you so.
because people ignored them.
oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
But
just-
that may be Boca. That
A bunch
just
of
might
people,
be
That's
a bunch of geniuses sitting
Rick.
around a room, but these are the geniuses that plan our lives, folks, the government. And they said, oh, yeah, I got a great idea. Now, they don't test these things.
Well,
and,
we don't know that. You're speaking out
I
of turn
predict
here.
it's got to be a miserable failure.
Well, I mean, that's valid to predict that, yeah. To say it doesn't work anywhere, I don't know about that.
Okay, we've got calls. We've got Dick on Zoom. Shall we proceed?
Do they
Dick.
have volume? Do they have vocals?
Shall I speak for
Yeah,
you?
let's try it.
What am I doing here?
Can I hear you? I hear you.
I hear nothing.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand, Dick.
No, not you, Earl.
Can you see him?
You gotta
I see
laugh,
him.
folks.
Raise your hand.
I don't
Dick.
hear him.
If you can hear us, raise your hand.
You know what? I say, let's move on.
Did he
and-
raise his hand, Rick? Okay.
Yeah, he's waving.
Oh, he is?
waving.
Okay, so he can hear us. Stu, I like your idea. We're
You
going to
get
go
the
back to
$100 bucks anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to the phones, and we are going to speak with David from North Palm Beach. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Have a question for Rick, please.
All right.
Have a 2011 Sonata. Problem with the key fob. Key fob works to open all the doors. It works for the trunk. It will not start the car unless I put the key in the slot that's in the glove compartment. Both keys work the exact same way. So the car won't start unless I put it in this slot.
Okay. Now, when you say the key works for the doors and the trunk, I'm assuming you're pressing the buttons to get those to operate?
Correct.
All right, if you had the key in your pocket and the doors are locked, and you reach up and put your hand in the door handle, does that open the doors?
No, it does not.
Okay, so something is affecting the actual keyless entry, the shall we say the keyless portion of it for the immobilizer and the door lock system. This is probably going to be something in the car's computer itself that may be turned off for some reason. Toyotas, I know, have a feature where you can turn off the remote start and the remote entry to where your key remote will now work just as a simple lock and unlock by the buttons, but the hands-free operation does not function. It's turning off the what's called the oscillators that are actually looking for that key. So you're going to need to get someone to look at your car and see if that has been turned off for some reason. I'm not sure how that would be, how to tell you to do that on a Hyundai. Their programming system's probably a little different. You can look in the sometimes in the infotainment system. You can go in there and look for settings and see if there's a way that it will turn that off, or look in your owner's manual and see if there's a switch maybe that turns off that smart key function.
Okay. let me
Like
try
Toyota
that
Prius
first.
used to have a smart key button down below the dash that you could turn that off, so if you parked your car at the garage, it wouldn't kill your battery constantly looking for that key over the course of several weeks.
Okay, you've been a lot of help. Let me go from there. Thank you very much, Rick.
Thanks
Sure.
for the call, dude.
You're welcome, David. Give us a call. Let us know how that turned out for you. We're going to go to Tequesta, where we're going to talk to Doug. Good morning, Doug.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for taking my call. I'd like to know, 2001 Ron, what does stop make for that car?
You're breaking up, Doug.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a, I got it going on. I don't know.
You're still cutting in and out.
Yeah,
Maybe he's just upset.
He could be. Or he could be. Why don't you try, let's give it one more shot and then try calling us back.
Let me real quick. Give me one.
Sing.
Okay, is this
Sing.
Oh, right. Yeah. I got something real quick to say. I was thinking about the previous caller.
Okay,
about-
I'm gonna tell Chuck to hold on, John to hold on. Everybody that's waiting to talk to us, be patient. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking in terms of a couple of the calls we've had and this big outage we had with the national outage.
Yeah,
You know,
that's right.
we're approaching the point of singularity and complexity, which where machines are becoming so complex, humans can't fathom the problem. So here is Microsoft of all places, where the guy that did the protection for Microsoft, software glitch.
CrowdStrike, right?
Yeah, and so we've reached that point, and get ready for it, folks. It's going to happen in cars. It's going to happen everywhere. You're going to have technical problems, and no one's going to know how to fix it for a while. It's getting scary.
I hope they keep planes off that system.
Yeah, it's just,
Skynet is here.
get ready for complexity, and because the smartest people in the world are not nearly as smart as the machines.
It's very scary.
It is
and
scary.
it was strange when you I was kind of disconnected from the news, and I wasn't at work, so I wasn't aware what happened. But it impacted us to some degree too. We had some banks that couldn't operate, and even Southeast Toyota went offline.
Yeah.
Okay, Jonathan, did you say that we have a new Zoom caller? Okay. Did I understand you to say it was Des? Okay. Des, if you're listening, I'm going to check to see if I can visually see you. Do you see anybody there, Rick?
Not so far. I am looking.
Okay. It's a little slow, and it finally does kick in. But until then, what we're going to do is we are going to go to Chuck, who's calling us from Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma. Chuck.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Morning, Chuck. What can we do for you?
Nancy. Continue. I'll go my Saga Chrysler. I bought a scanner from the auto parts store because nobody could do a computer relearn on my throttle body that I put. I took it in my own hands to get the scanner and do it myself. So when Earl talks about these cars are scary, well, yeah, because they got computers.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what it comes down to is the days back in the 70s when every 5,000 to 6,000 miles, 10,000 miles, you sometimes earlier you had to take your car to the mechanic, and he would go under the hood and adjust your idle speed, adjust the fuel mixture on the carburetor, little turns of the screws here and there, just to get things fine-tuned just right, adjusting the timing just a little bit, little adjustments here and there that
So,
nowadays
I have a
those computers are doing it 100 times a second.
Yeah, so here's my question to the guy who sells automobiles. Why in God's name doesn't the car come with a scanner, or why don't y'all just put it in the system so I could just push a button on my dashboard and it scans everything going on in my car and tells me what the part is, and then I go get it.
Great question.
Well, that would work in a lot of cases, but bear in mind that mechanics have to understand that sometimes when you get a code that says, hey, we're getting bad information from this part, it may not be just that part. There may be something else causing it. I mean, there are so many sensors and so many actuators on the car, we have to be able to interpret that data.
Yeah, Chuck, on my Tesla, your questions are great. Why can't you capture to understand the issue that you're having with your car? Because like the doctor says, you go to the doctor and your cough goes away, your earache goes away. I mean, when you're there, the symptoms are gone. And it's a great question. In my Tesla, when Nancy and I are wherever we're going, and we're on fully autonomous, if there's an issue and it goes off autonomous, the Tesla asks me, why did the car go off autonomous? So they're asking me, the human in the car. They don't know. The computer doesn't know, and it would take the computer a long time to diagnose it. But I'm there. For example, I was coming in this morning in the Tesla and autonomous, and it made a couple of weird moves. And the reason it made the weird moves, in my diagnosis, my opinion, is the angle of the sun was blinding the cameras on the outside. So yeah, it's a complexity issue, and we're just going to be living with this for a long time.
Well, the dealer had the car for 3 weeks, so I had to rent a car for $1,000 after he threw $1,000 more worth of parts.
Yeah.
Still didn't run.
Yeah.
And his excuse was, well, my mechanic really can't figure it out. Now, the last time I called Chrysler Corporation, Chrysler, what's up with your dealer? They're telling me they don't know how to fix the car. You know what the Chrysler Corporation said to me? Well, we're working in conjunction with our engineers and the dealership to try to figure out a problem. I'm like, holy smokes, why the heck would I buy a vehicle from Chrysler if the dealerships won't fix it and the corporation can't figure it out? So my thing is, I don't want to be negative Nelly, but the guy's like, why don't you junk your car, buy a new one?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. In fact, your phone's breaking it out now. So,
okay.
I mean, the high-tech world we live in, you got to roll with the punches. I mean, if you let every technical glitch get you down, you're going to end up in the funny farm because it'll break us all down.
I fixed it myself. I'm literally in my car doing my test drives.
I'm glad you were able to find the problem and get it solved that easily. That's a point in your favor, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what it's called? It's called YouTube.
Yeah, God bless YouTube and
Thank
the
you, John.
YouTubers.
God bless. Have a great weekend. Okay, we are going to try John from West Palm. Hold on for a second. We're going to try Des. That's trying to come in on Zoom. I think we're going to go to John in West Palm Beach. Good morning, John.
Hello, John.
John didn't wind up on Zoom, did he?
No, this is John from West Palm Beach. Are you talking to
Hey,
me,
John.
or-
Hi, John.
What's up?
Okay. You told me. Hey, not much. Hey, I'm getting feedback from the. I have a 2002 Avalon, and when I go to set the date and the time, I can only go to 2019.
Yep.
And that any way to get around that?
Nope.
Nope.
Unfortunately,
Right.
that was one of the things that we discovered. 2002 is the first generation Avalon when they first came out, and that had that fancy electronic display, all LEDs, running like 3/4 of the way across the dash. And as mechanics, when we would reset the year and the date and time on those, we noticed that it ended at 2019. And a lot of us asked, hey, what's going to happen in 2020 when these people can't get the next year? And all the engineers in Toyota was like, what do you mean 2020? That's 18 years. This car's not going to last that. It's like, excuse me, it's a Toyota? Yeah, 30 years from now, this car is still going to be on the road.
So we've been talking about complex machines. Now we're talking about dumb humans. It's just there are dumb humans out there. It comes to mind the Prius when they first came out with the Prius. You imagine living in Michigan and you're right on the Canadian border. People buy cars on both sides of the border. They don't care where they are. They might live in Canada and work in Detroit. And if you bought it on the Canadian side of the border, all you had was kilometers on the car. If you bought it on the USA side of the border, all it had was miles per hour, and you couldn't flip back and forth. So it's just engineers not thinking when they design things.
Well, and also when they designed it as well, I had called you before. I'm the one that changed out that whole display unit, not even thinking about the odometer being in there, and I changed my car from 60,000 miles to 200,000 miles. And you know, I called on it before, but I was just going. But my real reason why I called is a little bit of nostalgia for the young lady that's calling about displaying the car speeds of from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
And right away, my mind went to 1966, the Pontiac 421
Oh, man.
Catalina 2+2.
Oh, God.
Remember a 4,500-pound car?
Oh,
3.6 seconds from 0 to 60. It was just engineered, designed, and in balance, which allowed it to get to that speed.
Yeah.
Especially with that motor thing. Now, it used to be one of the fastest. Now it's no longer one of the fastest from 0 to 60, but for a long time it held that record.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a shame now because with electric, it's kind of like the technology is going to change everything. It's no fun anymore to talk 0 to 60 when you talk about an electric motor because it's a whole different animal. But back in the day, if you could go 0 to 60 and in 6 seconds, you were a hero. You were, you were a legend. And now they're talking about under 1 second. So it's just, it's no fun anymore.
Yeah, I'm not going to enjoy 1 second.
You black out.
I will black out.
You black out.
That's
no,
snap your neck,
out.
get a concussion.
I blacked out on roller coasters, and I would black out.
Oh, well. Yep.
Okay, guys, we are gonna. Are you still there? Are you still there, John? Okay. We are going to try to make contact with Des. All right, Jonathan.
Des.
And I think that I saw a peek of.
Are you here?
Des, right, Rick? You saw.
I did see him. Yep. He's wearing a
Hey, Des,
pink and gray shirt today.
If you're still on, raise your hand that you can hear us.
Can you hear
And
us?
then
Are you with
can
us?
leave your information, and we'll send out your check for $100 for being the first Zoom caller. Okay, we're going to go to Doug in Tequesta, and Frank, hang in there. Good morning, Doug.
Yes, this is Doug from Tequesta.
Good morning, Doug.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can.
Yes.
I'd like to know, I have a 2001 Toyota Avalon. I'm glad it's not a 2002 now.
Wow.
How long can I get parts for this car before they say, I'm sorry, we don't make them anymore?
Good question.
That's actually going to depend on the parts themselves because
there's a law on that, too. There's a federal law, and then there's also the reality of it.
The federal law is that when that model, that body style, that generation of your car has not been produced for 10 years, then they can start phasing out those parts. They have to have them available in good supply for 10 years past the last production of that particular body style or that generation.
And in reality, they will be available for a lot longer than that because people will stock those up. You just have to look a little harder. But legally, you'll be able to get them pronto in 10 years.
But I'll let you in on a little secret here. The engine that's in that car and the transmission in that 2001 Avalon were made so many of them and for so long and across many models that engine and transmission parts are going to be available for at least another 10 to 15 years yet to come. Such things as brake pads, brake parts, suspension parts, there's enough aftermarket supply on those. The only thing that you might find a hard time is if there are some of the computers or internal sensors like under the dash, some of those components may get a little scarce in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe 15 years, but you're going to have still a very good supply of those.
You'll always
for
be
a
able
long
to find
time,
parts. Always.
The internet will always be here until it crashes at the
How old
singularity.
are you? How old are you?
I'm 68.
Your car at this point might almost outlast you. Your kids could probably still find parts for that car. I don't mean to be indelicate about it, but I'm serious. That there are certain models of these cars that Jonathan and I were talking about this before the show.
Completely restored with, and I repeat, original parts.
Yep.
So that was about 20 years ago. So 1937, we found original parts on a 1937 Pontiac. So if you look hard enough and don't mind paying up sometimes for the parts, but they're always there. It's just a question of time and money.
And if you see a listing that says NOS, capital letters NOS, that means new old stock. In other words, it's an alternator that was originally made for your car that's been sitting on a shelf in a warehouse for 20 years, and it's still good and it's still ready to go, and it's ready to be put in that car and function just as perfect as the day it was made. And they will sell these and list them as NOS. It may not be produced anymore, but it's just as good as the day it was made, and it's ready to go for you. New old stock parts.
NOS.
Okay. Y'all are great. I appreciate all your information, and y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Pleasure. You too.
Thank you.
Hey, real quick, Rick. When I walked out, there was a guy asked about his battery on his key fob. Did he change the battery? I didn't hear the answer that Marty wants to know.
I don't know if he changed it, because he said the key was still working, the fob, by way of the buttons.
Right.
So it was actually the smart functions of the key fob that weren't functioning. The actual wireless was still functioning.
So it was getting
so
power.
it's got plenty of battery power.
There you go.
It's
there you go, Marty.
that smart signal
was weak.
was where he's having an issue. That's not functioning.
Okay. There you go, Marty.
Okay, we're going to go to Jupiter Farms, where Frank has been patiently waiting, and then after we speak to Frank, we've got a whole lot to get to. We'll try to squeeze it all in. Good morning, Frank.
Well, good morning, guys, from Jupiter Farms. I'll keep it kind of quick because I don't want to take up too much. But I have a friend that's been calling you on your Zoom number, and he says it goes through, but he puts in his ID, but it doesn't connect. Just to let you know that I have some of my friends trying to get through.
Thanks
Is there any
for
other
thanks for
options
that.
you can
Okay.
try?
Thank you. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah, other than that, I'll let you get back to other folks.
Okay.
Y'all
We're
have a
having
nice
some
day.
Good input,
difficulties,
Frank.
but
Thank you.
we're trying to iron them out. Thanks for the call, Frank. Have a great weekend. We have an assortment, an array of things to get to. Would you like to talk about Ted Smith?
I would,
should
yeah.
we go to?
Let me do that. I have a confession and an apology to make to the president of the Florida Automobile Dealers Association. And you've heard me mention the FADA, the Florida Automobile Dealers Association. This is a blog that I wrote, and it follows a conversation I had with Ted Smith, the president of that association. I've been blaming Ted and the FADA for a lot of things that they were not entirely responsible for. And a lot of times we talk about the Attorney General, Ashley Moody, and the fact that she doesn't enforce the law, and that the Attorney General is in bed with the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, and it's politics, blah, blah, blah. Well, the fact of the matter is, I was wrong about that. The FADA and Ted Smith have been working with Ashley Moody to start enforcing the law that you've heard us talk about on this show for 20 plus years, because the law on regulating Florida car dealers has been on the books for 20 plus years, but it's never been enforced. And a letter went out, a certified letter went out to me and 900 other car dealers. This is the letter right here. There were meetings of attorneys of the Florida Automobile Dealers Association with the dealers to explain the law, saying this is the law, folks. It's been that way for 20 years, and we haven't enforced it. Ashley Moody has not enforced it, but on September 1st it will be enforced. And Stu and we had a conference call. The key people at our dealership heard the presentation, and they're doing a lot. And Ted, I hope you're listening, because Ted and I go way back. I used to, I hired Ted. I was on the committee for the Florida Automobile Dealers Association that hired Ted Smith 25, 30 years ago. Ted, I forgot how long it's been. we were friends, and then suddenly we weren't friends because I got stupid and I said some things that weren't right. And I have apologized. He accepted my apology, and my blog is online. It'll be in the week after next, I guess. It'll be in the Hometown News and the Florida Weekly. But Ted, if you're listening, call in, by the way, or text me or let me know what's going on. But I'm glad we're back on board together, and we're working together to get the car dealers. September 1st, folks, the car dealers, especially in South Florida, you will see a huge improvement. Now, don't expect perfection. And I allude to driving on I-95 or the Turnpike. The cops will give you 9 miles an hour over the speed limit, and you're good.
Yeah.
So the dealers are still going to have 9 miles over the speed limit. But if they go 25 miles over the speed limit like they do in South Florida, they're going to be in big trouble. So
Right.
if you live in South Florida, rejoice. Thank Ted Smith. Thank the FATA. Thank Ashley Moody. On September 1st, the boys that are really pushing it in South Florida, watch out. You're going to be fined or maybe even have your licenses taken away.
I was surprised at the tone. I really thought, because the FAD exists to protect and help car dealers, and that the tone was, guys, get serious. It's happening. It's time to clean up Dodge. And there wasn't any equivocation about it. They didn't say, hey, you're going to get away from it. What I got from the analogy of the speeding analogy, it's basically who's doing the worst. So if 9 miles an hour is okay, but if you're the only guy doing that and everybody's doing the speed limit, you're still the guy that's going faster. So there will be a cumulative effect of not wanting to be that guy who gets caught, because the fines are huge.
Yeah. So good news for South Florida. The Northern Florida dealers, they're much more civilized. And the further north you go, and even you'll see our mystery shopping report coming up soon in Pennsylvania. Anywhere we go other than South Florida, car dealers are better, but they're not perfect. They're still making mistakes, and you'll see that in the mystery shopping report.
Big cities, things like that. Los Angeles is pretty bad too.
I'll bet. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is for the talk was they also talked about the cars rule next year, and they said even though it's held up in federal court, and Earl has started the amicus brief in support and is trying to get more signers to get on that, but they talked about it as, they said, listen, it's 50-50 how it can go. They advise their dealers to assume it's going into place and assume it's going into place in the first or second quarter of 2025. And and even if it doesn't do in its entirety, some version of it is probably going to make it on the federal side too.
And if you add Amazon into the equation, you've got a perfect storm of decency and reform affecting the whole auto buying community. So
it's happening.
Good news overall.
Hey, Earl, T. Cash would like to know, what's your stand on the Federal Cars Act?
I think it is a great idea that we hope will be enacted. It's being fought tooth and nail by the car dealers, and we're supporting it, and it's going to be up to the courts. Unfortunately, the Texas Circuit Court will make a decision on whether it goes in or not, and we hope that the Texas court will allow it.
That's pretty good. That's a great question. Yeah, what do you think about this? Well, I filed an amicus brief with the federal court.
T. Cash, I'd say he's 100% behind it, right on board.
Sounds good. Okay, guys, FaceTime, YouTube, do you?
That's the last. Well, let's see.
Well, Negan had a comment.
Well,
he did.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let me bring it back a little bit here. He says, now back on the highway thing, right, with the cameras for the highway, the ramp traffic lights.
Yeah.
He said, this is done in Arizona freeways, and it does work.
Oh.
And he said, like the software issue, like with CrowdStrike, he said, software issue won't allow people to punch the clock at my work the last few days.
Yeah.
And because a lot of the time clocks are now on the internet.
Oh, does Stu have a comment down there?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, someone, Stu Guru 68, wonder who that might be, says, thanks, Negan. He says, Earl is being curmudgeonly.
It's all right.
I think he even spelled it right.
I am a good speller. All right. What else you got over
Let's
there?
see. I do have one comment in here from Donovan. He says, now this is going back again to the CrowdStrike thing. CrowdStrike,
It's hard to say.
is not just one guy, laugh out loud, but it's another perfect example of why companies need to not put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Computers are not scary. People who don't know how to use computers in positions where it's required, that is scary.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, to the caller about the Chrysler situation, his problem with getting his Chrysler figured out, he says, you have to realize Chrysler is on the way out. They only have a few hundred people left in the U.S. at the corporate level for 4 brands of cars. They don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They're in trouble.
Downward
Chrysler.
spiral.
Yeah.
You've been saying that for a couple of years now.
Myself personally, on issues where you're dealing with a problem child car, a lot of technicians, and I'm going to say this without pointing any fingers, but I will say a lot of technicians are not interested in working on those diagnostic problems, the problem child cars. They want the quick, easy cars that come in, the maintenances, the brake jobs.
They're paid on commission.
They're paid on commission. They want the quick, easy work that pays them a lot of money so they can flag huge hours, get a great paycheck, go home, and just leave the shop at the shop, and they're out of there. There are a very few technicians who will step up and will take on those problem child cars, and I am one of them.
Well, it's a good technicians because where they get taken advantage of, technicians feel they get taken advantage of, is in diagnostic time. So if you're sharp as a tack and you stay on top of your trade and you're educated technician on top of things, your diagnostic time is much shorter than the guy that has only been on the job for 6 months. So you got to make a living. So you get, if the dealer, dispatcher, or whoever assigns the work gives a complex job to a rookie, you're asking for trouble. The complex job should go to the veteran tech who knows what he's doing, and you got a better chance of getting it fixed.
Yeah. But even those veterans, we sacrifice a lot of paycheck to spend time to figure out those problem child cars.
Depending on how busy it is.
And those best technicians, they're working on that car when they leave for the afternoon and they're driving home. They're still thinking about that problem child. And there are times that I'd get home and pull my computer out and just sit and study diagrams, trying to figure. And in the middle of the night, I've had solutions come to me at 3 a.m. and freak my wife out when I suddenly sit up and go, "Oh my God!"
It's a U-joint.
As I realize what I'd missed or where I needed to go next. And it just,
you have an aptitude and also a love and an enjoyment for it. Yeah, because I see it as, like some doctors, it's an exploratory, it's a puzzle.
It's the Sherlock Holmes attitude. You have to solve that problem.
Yeah, and that's a good
dog.
Bulldog it.
Don't we have a dog we got to go to?
Okay, it's just about 9:31 according to the boss. That's you, Jonathan. How do you like that? Okay. Our dog of the week is Anastasia. And Anastasia is been brought to us from Puerto Rico. Yeah, she was in Puerto Rico, and she was brought to Big Dog Ranch, and she's having a great time out there. And she's a little over a year old, and she is a mixed breed, and she is just so pretty. And Big Dog Ranch Rescue, let me see if I can get my microphone up here so you can hear me. Big Dog Ranch Rescue Dog of the Week, like I said, is Anastasia. So you can take a look at this video and tell us what you think of Anastasia. She's just filled with so much love, and she loves to hug and play with the other dogs, and she's just a great companion. So take a look and tell us what you think. Roll it.
Hi, my name's Elena from Big Dog Ranch Rescue. I just met this lovely puppy today. Her name's Anastasia. She's about fully grown. She's a year old. She's very good on the leash. She loves scratches, and she's a very good puppy. You wanna go?
She's a leash walker.
She's really friendly and loves other dogs, and she's looking for her new home. So come out today and adopt her.
Anastasia is a sweetheart. I love they have all these volunteers that go out there. The people that you hear on the video, folks, they're all volunteers. They're young. She looks like she's in high school, and but we're talking about the dogs. Anastasia is a sweetheart.
She's gorgeous.
She's a dog's dog.
That's such a sweet girl.
I know. I love dogs that are assertive, but not. They're just like they hang out. They feel relaxed, and that's a relaxed dog right there.
Great companion. Folks, you can go to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. That's www.bdrr.org. And they have an application there that you can fill out prior to going out to the ranch, and it'll save some time. Also, Earl's book, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, all proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch. The purchase of the book, where you can go to Amazon, it's $19.95. All proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and we do pay the adoption fees, and it can be pretty expensive, adopting a dog. So we're here for you once a week to take care of that registration fee. So Anastasia is waiting for you. And there are so many other dogs out there that are so precious. And every week I talk about Puppy Land, and it is definitely worth going out there and taking a look at Puppy Land. Jonathan, is that Des that's on Zoom waving at me? He's waving.
No, that's Dick.
But I can't hear him. I can. He's off. He just went off. I'll show it to you in a second.
It was Dick. I saw him on YouTube on the stream.
So anyway, we're being amused here. What do you want to do?
Well, just as I think about and listen to the Big Dog Ranch Rescue presentation, I keep thinking about what a upside down situation we have. We have an oversupply of dogs. Dogs breed promiscuously, as humans would, were given the opportunity, and there's too many dogs, and yet a dog is probably the single best thing a human can have in their lives. So because there's too many dogs, we have to beg you to come and adopt a dog. I guess I'm philosophizing here. It ought to be that. Where can I find a dog? I need a dog.
Yeah.
And because
leave me alone. The dogs are big
a human being without a dog is not a full, complete human being. It's just dogs and humans are meant to be together.
Yes.
So I don't have an answer to that. I'm just saying it's a shame.
I walk up to my front door, and as soon as I open it, Harley Quinn is right there to greet me.
Yeah.
And she stays right next to me till I get in the house and get my stuff put down.
Unconditional.
And until I
Unconditional love.
start petting her and greet her and say hello
If
to her.
you're not nice to Chris,
she's just
watch
right on
out.
me.
She'll come after you.
Yeah.
But your doggie never comes after you. Your doggie loves you unconditionally.
There's
She
a
is the
tasteless,
sweetest.
There's a tasteless joke about involving a dog and a wife in a trunk of a car.
I did that last week.
You say, okay,
You can do it again if you want to.
No, because I don't tell jokes like that.
Hey, folks, I just want to remind everyone, too, that Big Dog Ranch, they have a veteran service, that they offer out there. And, boy, what a service that is. They train the dogs to meet the needs of the veteran and back and forth. And it takes, a while. There's a lot of work put into this. So you can go out and take a look around. There's a lot of stuff to look at, a lot of dogs. And remember, our dog of the week, we do pay the registration fee, which is a big help. So take a look at Anastasia and see if she might just meet your needs. I'm sure that she will.
become part of your family.
Yes, most definitely. We're pretty close to making that happen. We're going to do that soon. We are going to go to the mystery shopping report, unless Rick or Stu have something for me.
I have nothing new.
Oh, okay. No, Rick? Okay, we're going to go to the mystery shopper report, and Agent Lightning, she went out to Valley Honda in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. I know it well. And she has been doing mystery shopping reports, I guess, for the past month in Pennsylvania, Stu?
She's in Pennsylvania. She has family up there, and
Right.
so it's convenient for her to do some of the shops up there.
Yeah,
So she
yeah.
hits around that region.
Yeah, and folks, she'll be coming home soon, and we have a bit of a surprise for you. And without ruining that, you'll have to stay tuned next Saturday when we do another mystery shopper report. Okay, recovering car dealer.
Okay. Monroeville, like I said, kind of a small town, and Pennsylvania, it's a different world up there. We live in South Florida, where it's the Wild Wild West. Then you get into Pennsylvania, things are calmer. And Monroeville, actually, my first job out of college was with Westinghouse. I lived in Monroeville, so I know it well. Kind of a sleepy town, but it's right on the edge of Pittsburgh, so it's not that sleepy. Speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning, this is our mystery shopping report. I arrived mid-afternoon. I was greeted by a very nice young salesman named Zach. That's a Monroeville kind of a name, Zach. I like that. He introduced himself and asked, "What brings you in today?" I said, "I'm up here from Florida, and I'm looking for a vehicle to leave here for when I'm home visiting. I'm looking for the best deal you may have available, and saw that you have a demo special out front. I was wondering what the deal is on that." Okay, this is interesting. You folks that are thinking about buying cars and thinking about demos and executive cars and blah, 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 listen carefully. Zach replied, "It has 6,000 miles, and the story on it is the owner of this dealership drove it to Florida. So most of the miles are highway miles." And that would be true. There was a piece of paper taped on the windshield. This is kind of small townish, kind of a cool thing. A little piece of paper taped on this car for sale on the windshield that said just probably was never driven over 75 miles an hour. But that's cute. I mean, that's quaint. I like that.
Probably.
Zach goes on to say, "It's a hybrid and it gets really good gas mileage. I'm sure that's going to be the best deal we have today," and I would believe that. "Would you like to take it for a test drive?" Zach asked me. I pondered this for a while. I looked around the vehicle. A new, quotes around new, 2024 Honda Accord EXL hybrid with an MSRP of $35,390. That's a low MSRP. The Monroney label was in the right spot. And of course, if you buy a car in South Florida, the Monroney label is not in the right spot. As a matter of fact, you're going to find it hard pressed to find the Monroney label because they take it off the car. But this one happened to be badly mangled, which I can kind of understand. If the owner's driving that car back and forth from Monroeville to Florida, he took it off, and then somebody had to put it back on with Scotch tape. But they were doing their best to preserve the Monroney label. I shared. I'm in a bit of a hurry. I need to get back to the hospital with my mom, but I really want to see if this would be feasible for a family to have a car up here while I travel back and forth from Florida. I don't want to waste your time either. I'm going to pass on a test drive. He was very kind, Zach was, and assured me he understood. I'll get that for you right away, he said. He typed my info into his computer, showed me the numbers on the screen. The top line was MSRP $35,390. They took off $2,000 and then added $254 in aftermarket. So that's all it said was aftermarkets. And then a $465 dock fee, and we know what that is, junk, right? Hidden fees. They added another $194.88 labeled total fees, a general, very inspecific kind of a disclosure we're looking at here. My actual price was $34,303, which is in reality $1,087 below MSRP on a previously pampered, that's fair to say, newish, I like that, 2024 Accord with 6,000 miles. I asked about the fees, but Zach would only address the charge for aftermarkets. 454, he said, is the aftermarket mud flaps that can't be taken off. That cracks me up. They're on forever. You can never take.
At least they're not.
You put these mud flaps on.
At least they're not $4,000 mud flaps.
Oh, 4,000?
At least they're not $4,000.
Oh, no.
Like we have down here.
Well, I'm laughing at the fact that how could there be a mud flap that can't be taken off?
Right. Welded.
Yeah. I also asked for a printout that showed me the same detailed pricing breakdown. Now, this annoys me a little bit, and very little compared to what happened in South Florida, but nevertheless, here we are in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. So I asked for a printout. Zach wouldn't provide this, but said I could take a picture of the screen. Now that was, to me, the worst thing in the report was right there. Zach wouldn't provide it. I told Zach that was the type of thing I was used to seeing in Florida dealerships, which is SOP in Florida, South Florida especially. But he said that it was the owner's policy not to hand out numbers before there's a commitment from the customer to buy. Now, that's real old school. I mean, real old school. I wouldn't be surprised if this car dealer wasn't there when I was in Monroeville. I mean, that is really old school. And in Pennsylvania, they reformed that usually. This guy has probably been the same owner for so long. They're just doing the same business the same way they did 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's my explanation for that. I thanked him for his time. I took a picture of his screen and left. And there you have it. It's Nancy asked me, how do you want to grade that? And I had to think about it because I was a little surprised on the negative. When we leave South Florida, we go, especially to Pennsylvania, we usually expect a breath of fresh air. This was not entirely fresh, but it was still beats the hell out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale. So when you grade this, keep in mind that we grade on the curve, and there's no such thing as a perfect dealer. A's are like hen's teeth; they're very rare, and F's should be rare. They are if we're grading on the curve. We have to have D's and C's and B's because you got to have a place to buy a car. Recommended dealer list we have on EarlOnCars.com. So let's collect the scores as they come in, and
I'll look for mine to come in. But I just addressing this. I got one from Bob. He gives him a D, 6,000 miles and only 2,000 off. Actually, only 1,000 off. Really, the owner of the dealership has caught the South Florida dealer fever from his travels south. Bob, I thought the same thing when I read it because. It was like, there's a lot of Florida in this report. Agent lightens, I'm up from Florida. I wanted to get this car, drive it back to Florida. The owner's got a demo, and he drives it to Florida. So maybe he was tainted by the South Florida bug. I'm kind of inclined to go lower. I've given really good grades to the dealers up north, but they got to get a C minus because I'm going to grade them on a separate curve. Those are the Pennsylvania dealers.
Yeah.
So C minus for these guys, and it was for the same things, particularly the not taking the picture. Everything else was at least friendly, and the amounts are small. They're not talking about thousands of dollars of addendums. It's like a much smaller scale. All right, C minus from me.
Okay, I've got Tom Steckel with a B minus. Would be higher without the aftermarket and dock fees. A breath of fresh air from what Orlando Honda dealers charge. So apparently Orlando, the Honda dealers are out of control up there as well. Let's see here. Joseph Kelleher, C plus. Would be a grade higher if they would have given a lot bigger discount on a demo with 6,000 miles.
Yeah.
Johnny Z. Fradley, C, could have been a bigger discount. Mark Smith, I give this dealership a C. T. Cash, D for destroyed Monroney. Brian Zlatko, sounds like an average dealership to me, C. And I think for me, I'm going to give them the C plus. They're about average, but they could improve, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Cram 1624, D plus. What happens when you get in the box? And yeah, that question, well.
Well, you never know. And we should go in the box. We should have Agent Lightning go in the box.
We can always blow out of the box.
I'm not surprised at the, the mystery shopping report. If anybody knows Monroeville, boy, I'll tell you what, they have grown by leaps and bounds. It's just not the same place so many years ago, and they have grown fast. So it's not a surprise that, they may have picked up some, toxic, shall we say, ways of selling. And for that, I give them a D.
Okay. We're pretty close on that one.
I'm going to go with a C minus. I said C in the car. I thought about it, and maybe because I was in Monroeville, and maybe because I had my sights set higher. And
you're feeling nostalgic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah, you can imagine how much they have grown since you left.
Yeah. The other thing that we didn't talk about, I probably should have mentioned when I was reading the report, is the owner's car, the owner's wife's car, that has a certain charm about it.
Right.
And usually, and I speak from personal experience, the car that I drove or the car that Nancy drove usually
that's how we sell
is in high demand.
It is, and it's presented usually by the salesperson like that, and it's not like it's not an organized policy thing. Like, all right, make sure they know it's Earl's car, but everybody knows it's your car, and they tell the salespeople, "Oh, Earl drove this one." And people kind of want to drive it. Part of it is also because they know it's unlikely to have been driven rough because you're respected.
Yeah.
Man
as
of
opposed
the
to like a
community.
rental car or a lease car with the same.
Who knows who drove it? You know the person who drove it, and he's a decent guy.
Say, where'd you buy that? Oh, I bought that at Monroeville. That was the owner's car.
Right, and people like to tell people that too. This is Earl Stewart's car. This is John Voight's car.
Back in '76, my parents bought Ralph Buick's.
Ralph's car.
His Buick.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's cool. And they probably told everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, a very nice little Buick Century, and it was a great car.
And you're still talking about it.
Yeah.
Is that a Seinfeld episode?
The John Voight one was, yeah.
So to expand on that, now when you go into a dealership in South Florida, every car in the lot is the owner's car. Oh, that's Al Hendrickson's car.
Right.
How about that? Well, that's Al's. That's his other car.
That's a great idea.
So
every Tesla we get on the lot will say, "Oh, this is Earl's Tesla." You heard about it on the radio. No, we don't do that.
It should be pretty interesting when the Cybertruck arrives, and I am fully in charge of Miss Nancy. You've been roughing her up.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the Cybertruck,
just me.
I finally understand the Cybertruck. That everything that, and you probably already knew this because you're fans, but Elon, everything that he does, all his companies, is geared towards colonizing Mars, and the Cybertruck is what he envisions will be transporting colonists around the domes.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me now.
There you go.
Now, I want to know if it's necessary for it to look like that to be easily manufactured on Mars. It might be.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I want to know if they can make that sliding tonneau cover out of solar panels.
Oh, yeah. Great
and
idea.
as the truck is driving or
Oh, yeah,
sitting,
that'd be perfect,
while it's sitting in your driveway,
Yeah.
You're charging.
big old solar panel is just
what a great
chunking
idea.
it into the battery.
Great idea,
All right.
yeah.
Or I'm tweeting to Elon. I'm DMing Elon after the show.
Yeah, I mean, we've got cell phones with foldable glass.
Yeah.
Why can't they make a tonneau cover of solar panels that can retract and roll up, but you pull that thing out to close it, and while it's sitting in the Florida sunshine, it's just charging that battery.
It's just capturing electrons,
Hey,
photons.
are we going to be fighting over the charger?
Yeah. Hey, I forgot to mention something in automotive news, which is the headline to automotive news. This tells you that this is for all you electric vehicle haters out there and saying it ain't going to happen.com. And it surprised me, to be honest with you. Headlines in the automotive news, basically, if you look at that headline there, the electric vehicles are actually cheaper to own than combustion engine vehicles. On the average, if you look at the average 5-year cost of ownership, the cost to own and operate, and that was done a thorough survey by J.D. Power, commissioned by Automotive News. So I salute Automotive News. I mean, Automotive News obviously is in the pocket of the auto dealers and the manufacturers to have the guts to put that on a headline. But in 49 out of 50 states, if you own an electric vehicle for 5 years, the cost is substantially less.
Yeah, it's amazing.
In some states, it's $9,000 less over 5 years to own an electric
That's
vehicle.
significant.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hugely significant.
And the one question I'm wondering, though, is how many states are going to start finding some way to charge EV owners more to register and own that vehicle? Because they're losing out on the gas tax.
That's happening now in California, right?
Yeah. I think that would be counter to the effort to incentivize the purchase, and I think you would see
it'd come eventually, but not during this
Yeah,
ramp
not
up
now.
period.
Right, but I mean, think about how much gasoline you're not using, and that is tax money that the state is not getting.
Oh yeah, they'll
So yeah, that's going to hurt them a little.
And to add to a YouTuber comment, which is very, very true about Stellantis, they said Chrysler, but Chrysler just paid $190.7 million to the U.S. government because their gas mileage is so bad. So Chrysler, and Chrysler's going down.
They're not even meeting the current
Stellantis,
standards.
I mean,
Challenger.
Heads up, you Jeep
Hellcats.
owners, if you fall in love with a Jeep, be careful, because you might wake up and Chrysler's your dealer's not there anymore.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at how weak Stellantis is getting.
Well, if you look at Dodge's lineup, things like the Challenger, the Charger, it's like if you buy a Dodge Challenger and you get the V6 car, people laugh at you.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's too much.
Yeah, you got the car that's more economical to drive, but people laugh at you if it's at least
if you don't have
not
the right one.
not has a
It's
V8
not the
in
right
there.
one. Yeah.
And if you don't have one of the Hellcats or the 396 or the RT or some of the big one,
Don't you think
Like,
though
wow.
that like Jeep would be bought and spun off because that's the one successful segment?
Jeep,
someone will
they'll
buy
do something
Jeep.
with Jeep.
and
Electric
then-
Jeeps, yeah.
So they'll do it, but the other ones
The company's going down, but the
Right.
cars will. A couple of the cars will make it.
will survive. Yeah.
To that article in the Automotive News, that's interesting. It'll be interesting just to see how things unfold. As far as, I think it was a couple of weeks ago that we were talking about, service and how most people, they don't, figure in that it's going to cost so much to get their vehicle fixed. So what they're doing is that they're getting 3 bids. Have you ever heard of something like that? I mean, they're going through service.
Should
They
do that.
can't afford to get their vehicle fixed, so they're going to their bank, their lender. They're getting 3 bids on a price.
Smart.
So it's becoming, pretty, I'd say pretty tedious. So it's going to be interesting how it's going to affect electric vehicle sales.
Hey, Earl, here's a crazy thought for you. What do you think would happen if Toyota were to buy the Jeep brand?
I think it would be pretty cool.
That can you imagine if Jeep all of a sudden
They'd make them good cars.
became a quality vehicle?
Well, they
that could
copied the
break-
Jeep.
Oh, it would have to.
Give credit where credit's due. With the
Well, we got the Land Cruiser, which is
what was the small.
FJ Cruiser.
Shea Cruiser. That was a Jeep. That's
basically.
a Jeep in disguise.
But imagine the Jeep, the Wranglers, and all the people that just love that. The huge Jeep community.
Yeah, how happy they would be not
Suddenly
to have their cars
they've
break
got
down.
a different driveline, but it's still the Wrangler look.
Yeah.
that they can customize out the wazoo like they love.
You could still call it Jeep, Toyota. You know.
Aren't we running out of time?
By George, I think you have an idea.
Toyota would have the
Okay.
younger generation that they want.
Let's do it. Man, you're full of ideas this morning.
Earl's ready. The recovering car
must be
dealer
that spot
is
on the table.
ready to
It
roll.
could be. It's
You guys-
rubbing off.
Okay, folks.
Go ahead and talk. I'm
Thank you.
going home.
Okay, folks, thanks for tuning in. We love your company. We'll be right back here next week at 8 a.m.